Hey guys, welcome back to the Nate Whitson podcast. I'm your host. So glad that you're here. Thank you for listening. It really does mean a lot. It means a lot when you listen. It means a lot when you share it. It means a lot when you tell your friends about it, because then we can reach more Christian men who are trying to change and grow and just be better men. So if you're new to the show, again, I'm a habits and behavioral change coach, and I help Christian men to align their faith and what they say they believe with their actions. We talk about this a lot here, that we are trying to train ourselves to be godly. It's kind of like a key verse from First Timothy chapter 4, verse 7. Train yourself. Don't just try harder, because that's the trap, right? So we'll talk about that a little bit even in today's show. But the trap of trying harder is a problem. We are like stuck, and we fail, and we wonder, like, what's happening? Like, how do I not become the man that I want to be? What's going on? Well, for many of us, it's just that we're relying on willpower. We're relying on a system to change that is broken. And so I introduced the system to men called the Start Super Small system. And it's a way of building momentum in your life by learning how habits are formed and aligning a big life, a life that is lived for Christ, for the kingdom, as better men, better husbands, better fathers, and better followers of Jesus. And that's what this is about. So this is kind of like long form help for Christian men. We do daily devos. We read through the Bible each year in our private Fight Club app, totally free. You can find all kinds of things there for free. A newsletter that comes out twice a week. This podcast comes out every Monday, free app. I mean, all kinds of things for Christian men. So if you're a Christian man trying to learn how to get unstuck, how to start living the life that God meant for you to live, you're looking for free resources or help, there's all kinds of things there. Getinthefight.club. And then make sure wherever you're listening to this at today, make sure you subscribe, click the notification button. And then again, sharing it with somebody else, sharing it on your social media or just individually, even just one guy at a time, it really makes a difference. So thank you for that. Thank you for listening. Today, I want to talk about this idea of what do you do when you are so sick and tired of failing over and over and over again? I don't know about you, but man, I have lived that out. I still continue to struggle with things. This is not a platform that I use to say, gosh, look at me. This is a platform where we say, gosh, look at him. Look at Christ. Let's get close to him. Let's learn to live the best lives that we can. Let's make the most of every day. But I struggle with things just like you do, right? This is for Christian men who are living a real life. And that involves feeling stuck at times and going, man, I've tried to lose weight 1,000 times and I can't seem to do it. I've tried to change this pattern or this routine in my life about how negative I think, or words that I use that I wish I didn't, or whatever it is, right? How do you deal with this idea of like failing over and over again? I want to talk about that and kind of give you some ideas that I think might help. It kind of reminds me of this as we start this conversation today. I remember years ago, I work as a financial advisor on my 9 to 5 type job, and so I used to travel a lot. Back in the day, I used to be all over Michigan, where I'm from here, and would drive all over Ohio and Indiana and different things like that anyways. But I remember I was driving one time and going to visit clients who were, several hours away, and was kind of rushing, got into the car, had to get going, whatever. Anyways, didn't think much of it. Had the phone sitting near me. Obviously, I wasn't on my phone while I'm driving, but I just didn't pay attention to my phone. Well, anyways, I got close to where I needed to be. And usually my routine was that I would go to the maps on the phone and then click it over, use that app, and then find my way into, getting to wherever I needed to get. I pick up the phone, I go to click on the app, and it's just spinning. Like nothing was like working correctly, right? I hadn't paid much attention to my phone, but I knew like when I needed it, when I needed that map for the final directions, all of a sudden it kept freezing up. It wasn't working. Nothing would load. It was just like super frustrating, right? So, I tap on it or, turn it on and off, just thinking like, what can I do here? Holy crap, what is happening? And then I noticed kind of what the big issue was. The big issue was that my phone was at 1%. I was asking my phone to work harder than it had the power to do. And it was just kind of like not working. It was just spinning, and it was on its way of dying basically at that point. And it hit me that like, this is the way life works for us sometimes. It's kind of like we're asking too much of ourselves when we don't have enough to give. And I think that's really like true for this issue today of like when we fail over and over again, we're kind of beating ourselves up and we're just like, what is going on here? Like, why am I not able to be this man that I want to be? What is happening here? Like, I expect a lot out of myself. Maybe that's just me, but I doubt it. I think as a man, we expect a lot of ourselves. We expect ourselves to be able to lead well, to serve well, to resist temptation, to keep pushing, to, get in shape, to do all these things. But like inside, if you're drained and running on 1%, it's impossible to give when you don't have the energy or the resources to do that. And I think like that is maybe where some of you are at today. It's like your system is not working right because you are running on empty, right? It's not that you're broken. It's not that you're unable or unable, whatever that word is. You're not unable of doing the things that you want to do or becoming the man that you want to be. It's that you're running on 1%. Like when you're trying to run a new app on your phone at 1%, it just spins and spins. You might say it's stuck, right? And I think that's where a lot of us are. We have goals and we have plans and we want to like be more of the men that God meant for us to be, but we're doing it at 1% and we're surprised somehow that it's not working. The thing that I would say to you, I guess, is this: you're failing over and over again to change and to be better. And it's not because you're weak. It's not because you don't know or have what it takes. It's that you are using willpower and motivation as the source of like how you're going to do it. And that simply doesn't work. What I suggest all the time is that men need a better way. They need a new way of trying to deal with it. Because the reality for many of us is this: we're kind of tired. I don't think that a lot of us, number one, recognize how low our battery is, right? It's kind of like I didn't recognize how low my phone was until I needed it. And I think that there's a lot of spiritual truth to that for us too. It's not that you're weak, it's that you're weary. It's that you're fatigued, spiritually fatigued, mentally fatigued, physically fatigued, relationally fatigued, right? Like I remember so clearly for me, I mean, the genesis of this ministry, if you go back and listen to some of the very first shows, and obviously if you're a fan and you've listened to many, you've heard me tell this story. But really the genesis of Get in the Fight was me finding myself at that place of just, I have failed over and over and over. And I was just mentally whooped. I remember thinking at one point, by the way, that like maybe I had like early onset dementia or Alzheimer or something. Like I went to introduce somebody to a friend at church that I've known forever and literally couldn't think of her name. It's like the brain fog was so thick. I was just kind of like, going through the motions, but I felt stuck. I felt mentally no good. I felt physically at the worst that I'd felt in many, many years, right? Like every area of my life was just kind of at 1%. And maybe you can relate with that a little bit too. The idea is here, like you can't be the man you're meant to be when you're operating that low. You can't add more to your life. You can't get unstuck. And many times it leads to failing over and over and over again. And you're going, I don't know what's going on. And what happens is we start to go, I think the problem is me. You start to doubt that you actually have what it takes. You start to wonder like why your prayers don't work. You start to just go like, man, I must be broken. But what I want to tell you today is you're not. I don't think it's you. I think it's the way that you've approached trying to change that needs to change, right? Like when you get stuck and you're spinning your wheels and you're stuck. I mean, picture like when a car is stuck in the snow or in the mud or in whatever, right? Can you picture that? And you're just like spinning your wheels. Does it fix anything when you're just spinning the wheels? It doesn't. Until you get traction, you are just making it worse. You're just going deeper and deeper, right? And for guys, like when this happens to us, we start to think or feel things like, you know what? Like, I feel like I am just always starting over. Like I want to change, but I don't think I have it in me. Like, I just don't even think like it's possible for a guy like me. Or we start to look at other people who have changed and think, well, they must have something that I don't. Listen, I think when that happens, it's that you just don't realize that your battery is at 1%. And here's the thing. Here's what I think is so amazing about God. He invites the weary. Do you remember the verse from Matthew 11, verse 28? I'm just going to read it. It says this, if you don't. Jesus says, and he's speaking this to everybody back in the day, of course, but this was written for you maybe today. Jesus maybe is saying to you, come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. It's like, come to me if your battery is at 1%, if your spiritual life and your mental life and your physical life and all of these things, your relationships are struggling, and you're going, I don't know why I can't get out of the rut. I don't know why I can't find momentum. I don't know why, and I don't know what I can do. Jesus invites us into that, and he says, come to me. And here's what's interesting, just like thinking out loud with you here in my own story, and I know it relates to so many. I feel like I know the answer is to come to Jesus, but as a man, I tend to go, I'll figure this out. Right? Do you feel like that ever? Like where you're just like, man, I know the answer is Jesus, but in my real life, I need to do something about it. I need to, pull myself up by the bootstraps, like you hear. I need to figure it out. I need to work harder. I need to try harder. And that's the trap. That's the trap that I want you to recognize. Jesus is inviting us to get close to him. He is saying, come to me, all of you whose batteries are running low, all of you if you are weary, if you're tired of failing over and over again, if you're carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. I will give you a peace that makes no sense, a peace in the middle of it where you actually feel at rest and calm, secure. See, the opposite, though, is what we tend to do. The opposite is what I tend to do. And this is the try harder trap, right? It's like, I just need the willpower to go do this. And if I can just like force myself to change, then everything will get better. And guess what? Spinning the tires over and over. And it's like, how do I never find traction? If you are relying today on willpower or motivation to be the thing that's going to get you where you want to go, I'm telling you, you're just going to spin those tires. It's like you're trying to add new apps and run new programs on your phone when it's running at 1%. When you have big goals, the idea is that you need to start super small and get yourself traction, right? Like it's like putting that log or that board or, that thing underneath the tire so that it can grip on something and just slowly move you out, right? You need traction like that. And that's what this system is that I teach. It's a way of getting traction by starting super small. And that's why we call it the Start Super Small system. The point is to get traction and lead you to Jesus, because he says if you come to him, then he will give you rest. He is the thing that we need. And the way that we get there is by starting super small, using a system that teaches us how to use behaviors and habits that can lead us there. But here's the thing, Galatians 6:9, let me read this to you. It says this, so let's not get tired of doing what's good. And man, many of us are there. We're tired of failing over and over and over again, right? Years and years of going like, I keep trying and nothing works. And if you get to that point, you do get tired of doing what's good. But he says this, at just the right time, you will reap a harvest of blessing if you don't give up. And so as you listen to this today, man, if you're one of those guys that's just like, I am on 1%, my battery's low, I'm tired of failing, I feel like I've tried everything, but I am worn out and I am weary and I am carrying heavy burdens, my answer is always, let me point you to Jesus. That is the answer, right? But practically speaking, guys are like, look, I pray. I love him. I go to church. I have followed him my whole life, but nothing seems to work. Like I am praying. I am going to church. I don't know what else to do. And this is really where the Start Super Small system comes into play. Here's kind of how it works. Hey guys, I wanted to take a quick break from the show to share with you 3 things that I think could help you to become more of the man that God meant for you to be, a better husband, a better father, and a better follower of Jesus Christ. 3 things, totally free, that I think can help you. Number 1 is our podcast. Hit the subscribe button, share them with a friend. That makes a big difference, not only in your life, but in somebody else that you care about as well. And it helps us to reach more men. Number two, we do a free weekly newsletter that is short, it's concise, it deals with just one key question and then 3 simple action items each week that will help you to get in the fight in a really practical way. You can find that at getinthefightclub/newsletter. And then lastly, you can join our Fight Club community. This is a free private app for Christian men only, where you can talk to guys and get involved with guys' lives from all around the world who are just like you, trying to get in the fight to be better men for Christ. You get things like daily devos, weekly challenges, monthly gatherings, small groups, so much more. It's kind of like a Facebook group, but exclusively for Christian men, and it's totally awesome, and it's totally free. getinthefightclub/join and check it out. Get more today. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, get our newsletter, get involved in our Fight Club. Totally free things to help you to get in the fight and win today. All right, that's it for now. Thanks for listening. Back to the show. Let's just say that your goal is to find some traction. And so we're going to say, let's just pick one area of your life. This is what I would tell you, right? Let's just find one area of your life where you feel like you are failing, that you know you need to get some traction in. All right. So you start with the goal. Like maybe let's just say like it's to lose weight. Maybe it's just like, man, I just physically feel like crap. And I knew if I could lose some weight, the momentum will come. All of a sudden I'll start feeling better in this area, and then I'll start feeling better in this area. Mentally I'll feel better, right? Like there's a real truth to that, a real compounding effect of really anywhere you start adds momentum. And that's why I teach it this way. But we're not going to try to change everything, and we're not going to try to change everything all at once. We're going to fix one area. We're going to, pick an area, one goal that can lead us to where we want to go. And so again, if you're listening to this and you're tired and you're failing in this one particular area, let's say that the goal is to fix that thing, right? Maybe it's your health, right? Now, what I want you to do, what I teach is 4 R's. The 4 R's are this: really want, rewire, remember, and reward. Start with the first one. Really want is where you say, okay, my goal is to lose weight. That's where a lot of us might start. And what I would teach guys in this system is that the initial goal of, let's say it's, I want to lose weight, sounds like a good goal because you know that if I could lose weight, it can lead to better things. But the reality is there's something deeper. There's something that you really want that is actually more of a driving force for you than losing weight. Like, for example, if you don't lose weight, for a lot of guys, it's like, you know what, I'm okay with being a little bit out of shape, right? But the idea of like what really motivates you might be, I want to feel proud of how I look in the mirror. I want to be able to take my shirt off and feel confident, right? I want to have better energy and feel good about myself. Well, that is really what you want. The goal of losing weight is kind of just a superficial, surface level idea. But what you really want is confidence, right? So what we want to do is we start by really examining the superficial level things. Start with that, lose weight, but then really start to break that down. What is it behind that I really want? That's the first R. What do I really want? What's the real goal here? To feel confident, to feel strong, to feel good about myself, right? Then we need to rewire new habits and new behaviors consistently over time that align with how to help you to have that confidence that you want so that you can lose weight, so that you can be a better energized father and husband and all the rest, right? The second R is rewiring. And what happens is in your brain, when you create new habits and behaviors, it's like laying down circuits. Think like a computer board. It's like you're laying down a new track, a new circuit, and you can rewire the way that your brain works and the things that your brain and body like by repeatedly doing those things. Your body likes the familiarity and the ease of new habits. So you're going to pick a behavior that can help you to act in a way that aligns with losing weight in this case, or having the confidence that you want. You're going to pick a new habit and behavior that you can try out that's going to help you to get to where you want to go. It might be something like, in this case, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to drink a 20-ounce glass of water. That's something that I've been trying to do because I want to rewire and change my health habits. And I know to do that, I need to drink more water and less, soda or other things down the road. So for you, again, we're just going to pick one thing that seems like it's such a small thing that there's no way it can make a big difference, but it does. The momentum builds. So I might say, okay, what I really want is to feel confident and strong and feel good about myself with my shirt off. And so I'm going to rewire a new habit of simply waking up, and before I drink my coffee, I'm going to drink a 20-ounce glass of water, right? Again, you're going to hear that and go, what good is that going to do? It's just a glass of water. But stay with me, because in this system that, again, I'm not going to teach the whole thing here in today's podcast. But the thing that I want you to hear clearly is that I always tell people, make the goal so small it feels stupid. Like a glass of water is not going to change your life. But I'm telling you, one habit and one positive change leads to two, leads to three, leads to many. And it starts to build and compound. When you start to feel good about the rewiring that's taking place, you're going like, man, that feels good to do that. And I'm going to try add another layer, another layer, another layer. And all of a sudden you find yourself being a different person. This is kind of how this works. So we start super small, so small. When you rewire that new thing, it feels maybe kind of stupid. It's so small, but I promise you it's not. So again, the first one is like identify the goal, figure out what you really want. That's the first R. Then rewire it. That's the second R. And now you've got to find a way to remember to do it. That's the third R. You want to make it automatic. A habit is something that you don't think of really. It's just like you don't think consciously about brushing your teeth or tying your shoes or the habits of, driving your car. It's like you're absent-minded because your focus, your conscious mind is somewhere else where it needs to really think about decision making, but the habits are just taking place and you don't even realize it. That's the real goal here. We want to create habits that are so simple to your brain and feel good to it that you do it without even thinking. That's the long-term goal there. So to get to that, though, we need to remember it because you're starting something new. You take this thing that you want to rewire, like drinking the water, let's say, and you want to figure out a way, how can I remember to do this? One of the things that I teach is called after stacking. After stacking is what I kind of walked you through in this example. You might have just not, heard it yet. Here's how it works. I have an existing habit of making coffee and going through this coffee routine. So that is like something I do without even conscious thought. I click the button, it turns it on, I sit down, I do this, right? Like everything is scripted. And I bet your morning's fairly scripted like this too. What you do to remember what this new rewiring habit is you attach it to something that you already do easily. So if I want to do this, I'm already making coffee. When I hit the coffee start button to start my coffee, I already have put a glass of water on my table next to my chair. So it's sitting there for me. It made it super easy. While my coffee now is being made, which I already easily, instantly do in my routine, I now have my water there. It made it easy. It sits right next to me. It's there the night before. I sit down, I drink that while the coffee's brewing, and now I just won. I just rewired this new habit that feels super easy. And what did I do? I stacked it onto another habit that I already do that's super easy at the same time of day, right? Your goal then is to take what you really want, align it with a rewiring habit that you can stack onto something that already exists at the same time so that you remember to do it easily. This is key. If you want to consistently create a habit or behavior, you've got to remember to do it. And the best way that I find to do that is to after stack. After you've already done one, a thing that you already normally do, stack the new habit on top of it so that you can remember. All right. The last piece of this, the last R is the reward. The first R is what you really want. The second R is to rewire the new habit or action or behavior. Then you've got to find a way to remember it with after stacking. And then there's the reward. Now, the reward is what happens inside of your brain. The brain loves habit because habits are automatic. They are things that happen in the background, and it allows you to naturally and easily do all kinds of things that are familiar to you so that your conscious brain can focus its attention on things that you have to decide in the moment, right? So your brain loves habit. And the way you create habit is by rewarding your brain with something that feels good. You want this new behavior that you do to trigger something in the brain that says, man, that felt good. I like it when we do that. Hey, Nate, let's keep doing more of that thing. And this can be super simple. These can be simple things. So for example, in the morning, one of the new habits that I have that I've been doing for a while now is when I sit down in my chair for my coffee, again, like this morning routine is super structured for me. And so I can add several layers of new habits and rewire new things here. And I've done that a few times. But when I sit in my chair and I'm just kind of getting settled for my morning routine, what I've done is added a prayer to it. And I sit down and I say what I call is the best day prayer. And I say, God, thank you for another day. Help me to make today the best day of my life. And then the reward is I smile big, a big, cheesy, goofy smile. Again, nobody's around me. It's just me and now that you know, you might laugh at that, but there ain't nobody around. It just kind of makes me happy, right? It's just a big reward of a smile. And so what you learn though, and again, I can't teach all the things all at once here, but I want you to understand this system. This system teaches you how to create and lock in new habits, and rewards are a huge piece of the puzzle. So when you tell your brain, that felt good, that made me happy, right? Joyful, whatever it is, proud, simple things like a smile or maybe a happy dance or, picture fireworks going off, or I give myself a high five in the mirror for other habits that I'm working on. Simple rewards. Tell your brain that was fun, that was good. And it connects like, let's do that again. So now the next day, when you're trying to align your life with what you really want, it's rewired with a new habit or behavior that you remember to do by after stacking it. And you do an immediate smile or some sort of reward, some simple thing that tells the brain, good job, that was good. That's how that system works. That is the Start Super Small system. And here's how it connects to this thing that we're talking today. If you are tired of failing over and over again, it's probably because you're trying the same things over and over again, which is really like the definition of crazy. It's the definition of insanity. I keep failing. I keep spinning my tires, but I keep trying the same things. I keep trying willpower. I keep trying motivation. I keep getting trapped in this try harder, kind of thing. And I just keep trying harder, but it doesn't seem to work. What you need isn't to try harder. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more willpower. What you need is the system. You need these steps. You need to understand what it is that you really want, that really moves you. And then rewire new patterns of behavior and remember to do them and consistently do them long enough with enough rewards that all of a sudden you just naturally and easily are doing new things that are moving you in the right direction. You need step-by-step guidance like that. And that's what I teach guys to do. Step-by-step, super small systems that are really easy to do and sometimes seem so small they're stupid, but eventually they lead you to big changes so that you don't keep failing over and over and over and just beating your head against the wall going like, I don't know why I can't change. I don't know what's wrong with me. Listen, it's not that you're too weak. It's that you're running on 1% and you're trying to find motivation to recharge you and it doesn't work. This system works. And so I encourage you to try it. Go to getinthefightclub/7. There's a free 7-day challenge. You can just walk through it. It's an email-based system. I'll send it one to you each day for the week. Teach more of the system so you can break it down and take more time with it. Again, totally free, super helpful. Resources, documents, different things will come throughout that week for you there. Just teaching that system to help men, better husbands, better fathers, better followers of Jesus. And so, man, if you feel like you're like failing over and over and over and you need more help, go check it out. Totally free. getinthefightclub/7. But think about where you're at today, man. If you are stuck, what is that area? Where do you feel stuck? Where do you feel defeated? What is causing you to fail over and over again and just feel like, I don't know what to do next? Pick one small thing that you can do today that might rewire and recharge your battery and help you to operate in strength. That's what this system's about, and again, so if you don't even go to the system, if you don't go to getinthefightclub and you don't try those things out, then what I would just encourage you is at least just start small. Pick one area of change and give it a shot. Figure out a way that you can remember to do it. Rewire it with something that cements it in. And it's like, man, that felt good, right? Don't forget that piece of it and start super small. That's the key. Many guys are like, I need to change everything. Don't do that, right? Don't go big or go home. That doesn't work. Start super small. Make sure that what you're doing aligns with who you want to be, the man that you want to be, and just start building some momentum. Start building some small wins one at a time that will lead you there. That to me, honestly, is what you should do if you're tired of failing over and over again. Start super small, have those wins, align with who you want to be, and just practice it, be consistent with it, right? So listen, if that's helpful for you today, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button right now because you're at the end of the show. Hit subscribe, hit the notification button so you don't miss the next show. Every Monday, a new one comes out. And maybe share this if directly with a friend. Is there a guy that could hear this and man, like that could really help? Maybe it's sharing it with a friend. Maybe it's sharing it on social media. I don't know. But if you'll like it and subscribe and comment and share it, it means that more men get to have help. And that's what we're here for. So that's it, man. I would just tell you, stay in the fight, start super small, have a great week, and we'll see you soon. Hey guys, thanks so much for being here today and listening to the show. Please be sure to head over to the website at getinthefight.club. And before you go, if you haven't already, please subscribe, click the like button, and leave us a positive 5-star review. It makes a huge difference whenever you do. Have a great day. Go get in the fight.